felt or sensed anything unusual here. Do you mean like
A presence.
No. Have you?
Yes.
So I want to start by asking, obviously everyone's going to talk about the POV of this film, but I think the cuts to black really tell a really cool story, especially with how long we'll linger on some shots before we get that cut to black and how long we'll stay in that cut to black in order for us to process the scene. Can each of you kind of speak to what it was like to continue acting maybe after cut is called, to continue that scene going? Lucy, we can start with you.
I mean, I think you trust that Steven knows what he wants, and he really understood what he needed, and he would edit like in the car on the way home and then that night. And I think he had a vision for this, and he was the one who said, "This is my idea, David." And then Dave was like, "Oh, I got it," and then wrote the script, you know. And I think for us, you know, we were just along for the ride, if I could speak for both of us. I don't know. And I mean, Chris has worked with him before. We got on and held on.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there was an idea that he wanted, and he went with it.
Yeah. I mean, we shot the film in 11 days.
Wow.
We were scheduled to shoot it in 14 days.
I thought it was like 13 or
and we shot it in 11. And the day we wrapped, I said to Steven, I can't wait to see what you put together. And he goes, "Oh, it's done. I finished it." But all of those things you're talking about, the structure, the breaks, the lingering sense, is all intentional. Steven is oftentimes the most interesting thing about his movies because he makes such wild and bold choices, and this film's no different.
Yeah, to talk a little bit about the camera angles too, your character of Chris, not you specifically, Chris, there's a great moment where you're outside on the back deck and you kind of open up a little bit on the phone. You're like, yeah, I'm going through some stuff. Times have been tough. And after the phone call ends, that's when you break down a little bit, show that emotion. It's a very masculine thing to hide your emotions. And I think it says a lot about your character that he wants to be really present as a father in the household when he takes his emotions outside. The fact that we still get that perspective because of the POV of this film, I'd love for you to just kind of speak to what that moment says about Chris as a character.
Yeah, I think that used to be the thing, right? To be masculine meant to not have nor share emotion, and I can certainly hope that we're navigating away from that culturally, because I think that this guy is experiencing, all of these characters are experiencing grief in one way or another, and he is experiencing grief in several directions. At the distress that his marriage seems to be in, at the distress his daughter seems to be feeling, at his son's lack of tact, for lack of a better word, and so to see a man, you know, for it to all just be too much for a moment, I think is a really interesting moment to have, and it is very quiet and it is very private, and yeah, I think it says a lot about the state of the family. Yeah.
Very much so. I'll wrap with this, Lucy. You can answer this yes or no because I want to be as spoiler-free as possible. Do you have your own interpretation of who the presence is?
Yes, we all do. I think.
Yeah.
I think we all do. It's, you know, and when you read the script, you have to kind of go back right away and start reading it again because it's not so clear.
Yeah.
And that's what's wonderful about, you know, David's writing and also Steven's direction and his willingness to keep it unclear. It's something that I think the mystery of what's happening is not just the dysfunction of the family, because it's really a telling of a story of a family, right? But the ability to change the topic of what we've been focusing on, you know, to something completely different that is intangible.
Yeah. I think for me, the thing that blew my mind about the twist in this film is not necessarily who the presence is, but how the presence is. Mm-hmm. The how is the thing that that made me go back and try to read it again and
very
figure it out.
Very Shakespeare of you.
Well, you know, the how is the thing the way that we will know the who. But it's different. It's different than most movies would have handled it.
Yes.
And Yeah.
It's not clean, and I like that.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it again tonight, guys. I'll be at the premiere, so
You'll have a
again,
very different
Excellent.
perspective.
Excellent.
Because more people have been coming in and saying they've seen it 2 or 3 times and
Yeah.
they see something different every time.
Okay, good stuff.
Can't wait
See
to see
you
what you
there.
think.
You wonder where they are. And you wonder what it would be like if you were there too.